Call the regular meeting of the Upshur County Commission to order. We'll begin with a moment of silent meditation and prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time we'll have the reading of the minutes of the August 2nd, 2012 Upshur County Commission meeting. August 2nd, I'm sorry. Go, Jackie.
The County Commission of Upshur County, West Virginia held their regular meeting at the Courthouse Annex on Thursday, August 2, 2012 at 9 a.m. Donnie Tenney called the meeting to order. There were present Donnie Tenney, Commissioner, Creed Pletcher, Commissioner, J.C. Rafferty, Commissioner, William Parker, Administrator, and Jacqueline Dinklager, Secretary. The meeting began with a moment of silent meditation and prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. All motion passed unanimously unless otherwise stated. After reading of the minutes on motion by Creed Pletcher, seconded by J.C. Rafferty, the Commission approved the regular meeting minutes of July 26, 2012 as submitted. Laura Meadows, Executive Director, Upshur County Convention and Visitors Bureau, appeared before the Commission and provided an update/status report on finances, events, and activities. Ms. Meadows provided data and a printout of the 2011-2012 annual report and highlighted the accomplishments of the CVB over the past year. William Parker provided a review of correspondence from Michael Kellerman, Director of Government Relations, Suddenlink Communications, concerning the purchase and sale agreement between Sequel Communications Holdings, LLC, the parent of Sequel 3 Communications 2, LLC, DBA, Suddenlink Communications, and Nespresso Acquisition Corporation. After discussion on motion by Creed Pletcher, seconded by J.C. Rafferty, the Commission approved and authorized the President to sign the resolution of County of Upshur approving the change of control of the cable television franchise. William Parker provided an update/status report on the purchase of vehicles for the Law Enforcement Division of the Office of the Upshur County Sheriff. After discussion on motion by J.C. Rafferty, seconded by Creed Pletcher, the Commission approved and authorized the President to sign any and all related loan documents from Progressive Bank for the purchase of 3 vehicles at the cost of $102,300, more or less. The Commission reviewed the following for your information items. Number 1, invitation to open house for the Alkins Office of the Workforce, West Virginia. Number 2, Upshur County Sheriff's Financial Statement, June 2012. Number 3, financial reports and information as listed. Number 4, agendas and/or notice of meetings as listed. Number 5, meeting minutes and financial reports as listed. Number 6, meetings as listed. Number 7, appointments needed and/or upcoming as listed. And the Commission approved all invoices for payment. The Commission approved all vacation orders. The Commission approved the following settlements as listed. The Commission approved the following exonerations and/or refunds as listed. The Commission approved the following time out of office for Commission employees as listed. The Commission approved the following consolidations of land tracts as listed. The Commission recessed at 10:30 a.m. The Commission reconvened at 11:15 a.m. James Ferry, Office of Emergency Management Director, appeared before the Commission to discuss public sector employees serving as volunteers for the public employer. Mr. Ferry has received volunteer applications from county employees. William Parker advised that the Commission, quote, err on the side of caution, unquote, when using volunteers who are employed by the county. Mr. Ferry expressed concerns about imposing burdens of increased record keeping on supervisors of volunteers. Mr. Parker suggested that any employee who volunteers their services should document the nature of the work performed. The Fair Labor Standards Act allows employees to do volunteer for the work for the employer for services other than what they would ordinarily be paid. After discussion, William Parker was requested to follow up to create a form/affidavit for county employee volunteers to document volunteer services performed with disclaimer statement that services performed are not the same type of services for which they are ordinarily compensated. The commission recessed at 11:55 a.m. The commission reconvened at 1:30 p.m. Brian Godet, Upshur County Circuit Clerk, appeared before the commission and provided a review of estimates from Software Systems Incorporated for a proposal to implement the PDF, portable document format, file format capability with case file images. Mr. Godet also reviewed quotes for the case file tracking system. Mr. Godet advised the commission that implementation of the PDF and case file tracking systems would increase efficiency and reduce the need for document handling. After discussion on motion by Creed Pletcher, second by J.C. Rafferty, the commission approved and authorized the president to sign the quotes in the amount of $5,000 for the PDF enhancement, $751 for installation and training, and $2,747 for the case file tracking system, total of $6,741. Janella Cochran, Chief Pound Attendant, and Randy Squires, Pound Attendant, appeared before the commission and provided a review of operations at the Lewis Upshur Animal Control Facility. The commission met with Helen R. Phillips, Upshur County Assessor, and employees of the Assessor's Office concerning the review of property books. With no further business, on motion by J.C. Rafferty, second by Donnie Kenny, the commission meeting adjourned at 3:30 p.m.
Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes as read? Not, I'd ask for a motion to be approved as such.
So moved. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, August 9th.
The County Commission of Upshur County, West Virginia held their regular meeting at the Courthouse Annex on Thursday, August 9, 2012 at 9 a.m. Donnie Tenney called the meeting to order. There were present Donnie Tenney, Commissioner, Creed Pletcher, Commissioner, J.C. Rafferty, Commissioner, William Parker, Administrator, and Jacqueline Dinkblocker, Secretary. The meeting began with a moment of silent meditation and prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. All motions passed unanimously unless otherwise stated. August 2, 2012 minutes were unavailable. The item was placed on next week's agenda for approval. William Parker provided an update/status report on the proposal for the establishment of the Upshur County Appraisal Assessment Advisory Board. On Thursday, August 2, 2012, the commission met Upshur County Assessor Helen Phillips and representatives of the Upshur County Assessor's Office and representatives from the West Virginia State Tax Department. Mr. Parker met with Jacob Rieger, prosecuting attorney, concerning West Virginia code requirements. William Parker advised the commission to review assessments of the district, which was completed last year, before taking further action. I got the wrong minutes.
Yeah, this is not, doesn't comport with what.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I had the wrong copy. Okay. August 2, 2012 minutes were unavailable. The item will be placed on next week's agenda for approval. William Parker provided an update status report on the proposal for the establishment of the Upshur County Appraisal Assessment Advisory Board. On Thursday, August 2, 2012, the commission met with Upshur County Assessor Helen Phillips and representatives of the Upshur County Assessor's Office. The commission will follow up with a review of one district before considering establishment of the board. After discussion on motion by J.C. Rafferty, seconded by Creed Pletcher, the commission approved the appointment of Fred Arbogast to the Upshur County Fire Board as recommended by Jeff Walmsley, President, Upshur County Firefighters Association. Mr. Arbogast's term will expire June 30, 2015. After discussion on motion by J.C. Rafferty, second by Creed Pletcher, the Commission approved the appointment of Benny Naselrod to the Upshur County Enhanced Emergency Telephone Advisory Board, as recommended by Jeff Walmsley, President, Upshur County Firefighters Association. Mr. Naselrod's term will expire June 30, 2015. After discussion on motion by Creed Pletcher, second by J.C. Rafferty, the Commission approved the resignation of Ruth Ann Marino as part-time E911 Communications Center dispatcher effective August 1, 2012. After discussion on motion by J.C. Rafferty, second by Creed Pletcher, the Commission approved and authorized the President to sign the Department of Homeland Security Federal Emergency Management Agency request for public assistance application for federal and/or state disaster relief. After discussion on motion by Creed Pletcher, seconded by J.C. Rafferty, the Commission approved Curtis Edwards, Christina Luden Edwards, Hartzell Kuhl, and Stephen Linger as volunteers for the Office of Emergency Services /CERT. 3 of the volunteers are employees of Upshur County and will be required to complete a public employee volunteer duty report, when providing volunteer services. The purpose of the form is to affirm that volunteer services performed are not the same or similar to normal job duties as outlined by the Fair Labor Standards Act. After discussion on motion by J.C. Rafferty, seconded by Creed Pletcher, the Commission approved the appointment of 1 team of emergency absentee ballot commissioners for the general election to be held on November 6, 2012, and authorized the Commission to sign the appointment statement. On motion by Creed Pletcher, seconded by J.C. Rafferty, the Commission approved the number of representatives for the Republican Election Board and the Democrat Election Board for precincts as submitted for the general election to be held on November 6, 2012. After discussion on motion by J.C. Rafferty, seconded by Creed Pletcher, the Commission approved the reappointment of Robert Wright to the board of the Hodgesville Public Service District. Mr. Wright's term will expire August 5, 2018. After discussion on motion by J.C. Rafferty, seconded by Creed Pletcher, the Commission approved the reappointment of Ed Beer to the Upshur County Fire Board. Mr. Beer's term will expire June 30, 2015. After discussion on motion by J.C. Rafferty, seconded by Creed Pletcher, the Commission approved the appointment of Mike Gower to the board of the Buchanan-Upshur Airport Authority. Mr. Gower's term will expire June 30, 2013, and will fill the unexpired term of William Wellings. After discussion on motion by Creed Pletcher, seconded by J.C. Rafferty, the Commission approved the reappointments of Jeff Walmsley, Dr. Rigoberto Ramirez, and Mary Ann Newman to the Upshur County Safe Structures and Sites Enforcement Advisory Board. The terms of each will expire June 30, 2014. The Commission discussed the recent damage to the West Virginia University Extension Office building due to a vehicle accident and recent traffic accidents, which involved damage to county-owned vehicles. Donnie Tenney provided an update on the County Commissioners Association of West Virginia's annual meeting, which was held August 6, 7, and 8. The Commission reviewed the following for your information items. Number 1, Building Permit Report, July 2012. Number 2, Dog Warden Report, July 2012. Number 3, Agendas and/or Notice of Meetings as listed. Number 4, Correspondence from Debbie Thacker Wilfong, Upshur County Clerk, regarding Notice of Appointment, Replacement of Ballot Commissioner. Number 5, Meetings as listed. Number 6, Appointments needed or upcoming as listed. The Commission approved all invoices for payment. The Commission approved the following exonerations and/or refunds as listed. The Commission recessed at 1:30 a.m. The Commission attended the meeting of the Upshur County Policy Board at 1 p.m. The Commission attended the meeting of the Upshur County Departmental Supervisors at 2 p.m. The commission reconvened at 3:40 PM. And with no further business, on motion by J.C. Rafferty, second by Donnie Tenny, the commission meeting adjourned at 3:40 PM.
Any corrections or additions to the minutes as read? Not, I ask for a motion to be approved as such.
So moved.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, we have Robert Sargent and Betty Sargent, usage of Courthouse Plaza on September 25th, 2012, National Day of Remembrance for Murdered Victims. So if you all like to come up and address the commission?
All right, thank you. I'm Robert Sargent, and
I'm Betty Sargent.
with the National Organization of Parents of Murdered Children, a national support group for all survivors of homicide victims, not just parents. POMC holds every year on September 25th a National Day of Remembrance to honor and remember those who were taken away by violence. And my grandmother/mom here is involved down here trying to start a local chapter. And we came before the board last year to hold a similar vigil for our specific case. But we would like to hold one in honor of the National Day of Remembrance on the 25th at the plaza, very similar with speakers. Laura's not really aware yet. We haven't really gotten to talk to her, but we will be taking care of that. And pretty much the same thing like we did last year.
Okay, so on the 25th is when you would like to be able to
Yeah.
use the plaza?
September, yes.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
They may also need to lobby down there, except last year was rain, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, there was a possibility of rain, and Laura Queen was with us, and we were allowed to go into the annex.
Okay, well, we can make that work.
Right, yeah, we were
Yeah.
going to do the same.
Okay, so we have a motion to allow the request.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
thank you. All right, our first item for discussion and possible action is approval of maintenance agreement with Software Systems Incorporated. That information on page 1 through 3.
Continuation of a current agreement that's in place. Currently, it's $1,539. These total up to $1,415, so it's about an 8% reduction in our cost, and that's based on the call volumes of the preceding year.
So if you make less calls last year, you pay less this year. That's good. Okay, do we have a motion to approve the continuation of the maintenance agreement with Software Systems?
So moved. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item is consider requests from West Virginia Westland men and women's swimming team to use the pool facility. We have a request. August the 20th through the 24th, 4:30 to 6:30, 27th through the 31st, and 4:30 to 6:30, and September the 4th through the 7th, 4:30 to 6:30, and September 8th. It's still available the 10th and 15th. We'd ask you to consider allowing us to train at the facility for an additional week. I believe, was Greg going to get some cost figures on?
I talked to Mr. Harris, and it depends on, of course, how many people are utilizing. One of the largest cost factors is the amount of chemicals that would be used. In our discussion earlier this week, because we've provided this in the past free of charge to Westland, one suggestion or recommendation may be to actually track the actual additional cost this year and advise them any future usage after this year may be, reimbursement based on that cost factor. Or we can, track it and bill them after usage. It's however you gentlemen like to proceed. In the past, this is a service that the county has provided at no charge to Westland.
Are they going to provide their own lifeguards, or do we have to provide the lifeguards?
We don't have to provide any lifeguards, anything like. The only thing we have to do is have the water ready,
Facility.
the facility ready, and that may entail some hourly rate for our pool director or someone
either that or our maintenance staff to make sure, to monitor the water to make sure it's ready.
We have to have someone present, obviously, during training.
We can work that out with Wesleyan. In the past, I think they've been granted access with a key. And of course, as you gentlemen are probably aware, the assistant coach is our pool director. So I'm assuming he would be there in his capacity at Wesleyan at this time also.
I would make a motion that we allow Wesleyan to use the pool for stated reasons during the dates in question, that we monitor the expenses, that this year we not charge them the expense, but further consideration be given in the future should they use the pool.
Well, that way we'll know what the costs are. We'll know what kind of a contribution the county's making. I mean,
Well, the college contributes much to the county, a big part. I would suspect, might be proven otherwise, but I would suspect the expense would be what is often referred to as the minimus amount to the county for the benefit that the college receives. So I would make that motion.
Second.
okay. Well, we'll know that next year then, after this season as to whether. Is there the only question I'd have, Willie, is if we don't have someone that's a county employee, are there any liability issues or any concerns there if we don't have someone there from the county during this time? Is that any issue of concern?
No, it would be similar to the usage of the, I forget the name of the group that uses it early morning, that provide their own staff.
And we don't have anybody there for that?
Yeah, we don't have anybody, at that group either.
But as you stated, the pool director would be there present with the swim team.
Yes.
Well, he might be.
Might be.
Yeah, I'm assuming he is. I have not, he and I haven't connected on this yet.
Okay.
But I don't foresee any issues as it relates to liability any more than there would be with that other group that has used it throughout the year, or season early.
And then we also have some high school kids, a group there that uses it, I believe, some.
Yes,
School starts.
when school starts, sometimes the high school uses it throughout the day.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Okay. Next item is approval of increase of or wage adjustment for community corrections staff.
I had a community corrections meeting this week, which I attended, and the topic was on there about their, as you gentlemen are aware, the grant was submitted with a substantial increase in wages. It was not funded at the level that the grant was submitted, so the first paycheck for the new fiscal year included the higher amounts. We've since reduced them back down to last fiscal year's levels. The board has approved a 5% increase, and those monies will be coming out of the local community corrections fund that they have funding in to fund this. They gave a figure, I didn't run the numbers, of approximately $7,000 for the remaining of the fiscal year is what this would cost.
Reimbursed by the grant.
It's not reimbursed by the grant, even though, but I didn't change my notes. It's reimbursed by the local community corrections fund that they have funding in. The salaries are reimbursed by the grant. The additional is going to be reimbursed by the local community corrections fund.
And how do they determine, what method do they use to determine what the local match is? Is it a percentage of the grant?
So whatever the grant amount is, there's a, it's either 20 or I think it's maybe 30% cash match or in-kind service type match, depending on the situation. Some is cash match and some is matched with salaries of home confinement officer, et cetera, of how that proceeds, so.
Okay, any questions on that? We have a motion to approve the request.
So moved.
Also,
Any other questions? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Discussion and consideration of bond amount, if any, regarding the appeal of the Commission's decision concerning the contested election petition Taylor versus Kelly. And you might elaborate on your research on that, Mr. Parker?
West Virginia Code 377, which I provided a separate copy of, printed that off this morning. I contacted the Office of the Prosecuting Attorney. They were able to assist in finding this. I was having trouble finding the wordage. But about the 10th line down, it says either the contestant or the contestee shall have the right of appeal to the circuit court of the county from the final order of decision of the county court, it's now county commission, in such proceeding upon the filing of a bond with good personal security by the party desiring the appeal to be approved by the county court, now county commission, in a sum deemed sufficient by such court with condition to be to the effect that the person proposing to appeal will perform and satisfy any judgment which may be rendered against him by the circuit court on such appeal. In discussion with Mr. Rigger, the county commission, in determining the amount of the bond, would need to consider any possible additional cost as a result of that appeal of what additional expense the county may incur. If the appeal is not upheld, the circuit court, I'm assuming could or should, may, whatever word you'd like to use, grant the cost reimbursement to the county commission. Such cost, in my mind, would be the additional cost of our legal counsel appearing at that hearing and travel, minimal travel expense related to that. It is decided on the record, so it's a matter of how long you believe that hearing would take before the Circuit Court of Upshur County.
Would the case be handled by the county prosecutor, or would our attorney that we retained for the initial hearing on the matter be retained for this as well?
Mr. Stranko would be continuation of this appeal.
That might change it.
Yeah, I would, just an assumption on my part, a 2 or 3 hour hearing before circuit court, I wouldn't imagine Judge Cadle taking more time than that to hear, a case that's decided on the record.
If it is Judge Cadle, maybe a hearing to accuse Judge Cadle.
That very well may be, yes.
So being conservative and figuring out the time involved may take more than 2 or 3 hours.
And I did talk to Ms. Wilfong this morning, the county clerk, and again, it's an assumption and discussion with Mr. Rigger and Ms. Wilfong that would probably operate similar to a bond that's posted for a recount, which you gentlemen are familiar with in the past. We've had those situations, which is a cash type bond.
Based on what?
It sets a bond amount not to exceed 300. Code sets that amount. You can set a bond not to exceed 300 in a recount situation. That's the maximum of that under that section of code.
So even if you go over 300 cost?
Well, they're responsible for the cost, but the bond can only be 300.
Well,
and it could be a similar situation in this case. You set a bond amount, the actual expense may be more than that, but the bond is there. The intent of that is to cover your cost. Now,
But they're still expected to pay
but they would be
cost.
expected or ordered to pay the total cost if the bond didn't cover it.
So it's okay.
I would recommend we set a bond at $1,500.
Okay, we have a recommendation. Is that a motion recommendation?
Motion.
We have a second to that?
Second.
Any other questions or comments? Any comments, Willie?
Mr. Rigger and I, in our discussion, we felt $1,000 would be a very minimum. I think $1,500 is a reasonable expectation of that bond. I think that's well
Okay.
within line of what,
Well, knowing that the cost of the attorney
Yeah.
is per hour.
yeah.
Okay. Then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, next item, review property tax books before consideration in the establishment of Upshur County Appraisal Assessment Advisory Board. And as the minutes reflected in August the 2nd, on August the 2nd, we met with our assessor and the greatest portion of our staff and discussed implementing this advisory board. And later discussion on the 9th, we decided that maybe a first step before doing that would be to take one of the districts that they've gone through and brought everything up to where it should be, which they have to do every 3 years. The assessor is required to visit every property every 3 years and then change the assessment if necessary. So what we had talked about was looking at Union District, and our assessor said that she had an extra copy of the property tax books for Union District and that she would bring those up so that we could start taking a look at that. And I guess my question at this point, has she brought that up yet, Mr. Parker?
We've communicated back and forth email. I don't know if we've got those. Asked the secretary to go down and pick those up there Tuesday or yesterday, but I'm not sure if we've got that. It's available, but I just haven't followed up since Tuesday or Wednesday to see if we've went down and picked that up.
We would probably need those before we can start the process.
Yep.
She did
Schedule
say.
to meet,
Huh?
and we can set a schedule among ourselves to meet and review the books.
Right. So, and since she said she had an extra copy, then we won't be taking anything away from her daily chores and working on those. So I would say we would check and see if we have those, and if not, we should get those up here immediately. Next item is review applications, resumes for position of Assistant County Administrator. Review to be in executive session.
We just have a few that came in as a result of the online advertisement of, it was careerbuilder.com, and that expired August the 9th, but you gentlemen can review those. I don't think there's any that would stand out above what candidates that you've already interviewed, but I have those available.
Have we, did we set a deadline on the additional?
Yeah,
ones?
the others, those deadlines are today, tomorrow, so we my time period recommendation next week, if possible, if not the following week, no more than 2 weeks possibly from now.
Make a decision.
To make a decision.
Right. Yep. All right, well, we have our home confinement reports and our community correction reports and agendas and minutes and financial reports and notice of meetings. And I'm sure we have bills to pay. Does anyone else have anything? Oh, that's right. Dennis wants to make a little announcement. So why don't you come up here at the podium, Dennis? He's usually behind the camera. And today he's going to be in front of the camera. And he's got his little speech ready.
I do have a little speech ready. If I can get it open.
He doesn't need it.
Okay. I have the speech ready for a specific reason. It'll show up in the end of the speech. I was an auto mechanic for about 30 years. I've been drawing a service-connected disability rating and check since 1973. After I graduated from college in 1976, I stayed in the field of auto mechanics. Right after I got married for the second time in 81, we moved to Florida. In 91, we lost our new house because of VA cutbacks. We had to move back to my old house in Detroit, so we kicked the tenants out and returned. The house was a disaster. At that time, I had no job, and our income was only $262 a month. This was all that was left of my VA check. At that time, I told God that if He would take care of us, then I would do what I could for the poor and elderly on my block. I knew how to do a lot of home repair and yard work. I fixed up their homes and cut their yards for whatever they wanted to pay me for my labor. Sometimes I worked for free. And through God, the VA returned me to my latest rating with back pay. In 1993, we sold our house and escaped to Buchanan, West Virginia. My agreement with God was still in force. So I did the same kind of work here that I had been doing in Detroit. I was burned out as an auto mechanic, and I took up an interest in video work. One day, on short notice, I was asked to tape the VFW awards ceremony for Channel 3. They liked it so much that I was asked to do more. At that time, they paid me $10 per event. In July of 1993, I started the company known as Mountain State Video Imaging. A co-worker at Channel 3 was my technician, and I wanted to give him the company after I got it up and running. About 2 years later, I turned the company over to him. Now I work for him. I have been a volunteer since I started the company. I record county commission, city council, the entire veterans events, some school board meetings, a lot of Strawberry Festival events, and I host some of the car shows and more. All of this has been free to the community and viewing public because you are already paying me in the form of my VA check. You could say that I am your tax dollars at work. I am getting old and tired. It is with regret that I announce my retirement as of January 2nd, 2013. I'm giving this long notice so maybe another person will volunteer soon. We at Mountain State Video Imaging would like to hire a replacement for me, but we dare not, as long as Obamacare is looming over our heads. I want to thank everybody for making me feel welcome and useful here. I only regret that my only sister will not change her mind about me. She knows all that I do here, and now I am helping to raise my 2.5-year-old step-grandson. My sister thinks of me as a burden on the taxpayer because I accept my VA check. If any of you know of a person that wants to take my place, we will train them. They can call the TV station at 304-472-0795 and leave a message. They may also call me at home at 304-472-1104. Also, if anybody or business wants to sponsor any of the programs, it would help to ensure that they get recorded in the future. Please call the TV station to sponsor the programs, and thank you for letting me use this time. There is one other development that is not under speech. A co-worker of mine here, co-host, Rick Edwards, is behind the camera today, and I'm training him to do some of the work. Rick and I have worked together in the past as co-hosts for the Antique Car Parade, and we worked good together, and he's going to do some of the volunteer work, but we still need volunteers for the rest of it. So if anybody out there wants to volunteer for Channel 3, call us at 472-0795. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Dennis, for your service to the citizens of Upshur County, and
You're welcome.
I say that the taxpayers have gotten their money's worth out of you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Maybe you could be Rick's backup. I might do that yet.
There you go. Okay, well, thank you very much. Does anyone else have any? Well, do you have anything else?
I just told Dennis we may pass a resolution outlawing his retirement, so.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll start on our paperwork then.